Does a long-term loan, such as a house mortgage, prevent one from having to pay zakat for the duration of the loan? So the answer to this is that there are three types of debts, three types of loans. The first type is a short-term loan, loans which need to be paid within 1 year. So the ruling for this type of loan is the debt, the full amount will be minused and deducted from your zakatable assets, and if the remainder is still above the nisab threshold, zakat is payable, otherwise not. So for example, you had £2,000 worth of zakatable assets, then you've taken a £1,000 short-term loan. You will minus that £1,000 from the £2,000. You will have £1,000 remaining, and the nisab value or the nisab threshold at the moment is about £385. So that £1,000 is above that £385. Therefore, zakat will be necessary on you, and it will be necessary on that £1,000. But the main point here is that in a short-term loan, you will deduct the full amount. A short-term loan meaning the loan which you need to pay back within 1 year. That is what is classed as a short-term loan. Number two is a long-term loan which needs to be paid over a number of years, taken from a bank. This is specific to a bank. The ruling will be the amount one needs to pay in the course of the coming year will be deducted from one's zakatable assets. Not the full amount, only the amount which needs to be paid in the course of the upcoming year. So for example, let's just say Muhammad takes a loan of £36,000 which need to be paid over a course of 3 years in installments of £1,000. So that would be 12,000 in 1 year. So when Muhammad's zakat is due on his zakat anniversary date, he will minus £12,000, because as we have mentioned, this is what he is going to pay in the coming year. He will minus this from his zakatable assets. And if his assets are still above the threshold of zakat, the £385 at the moment, which fluctuates all the time, then zakat will be necessary. If not, then zakat will not be necessary. So that is the second type. And home loans, mortgages, student loans, they will fall in this category. Number three, a long-term loan taken from a person, not a bank, which it can be paid back altogether, it can be paid in installments. So the ruling is the debt, the full amount will be minused and deducted from your zakatable assets, and if the remainder is still above the nisab threshold, zakat is payable, otherwise not. So in a long-term loan taken from a person, the full amount will be deducted, whereas a long-term loan from a bank, you will only deduct the amount that you are going to pay over the course of the coming year. The reason for the difference between the two is that when you specify a date with the bank, you say that I will pay you back in 2025 or 2026, for example. They have no right to ask you for that money before that date. The bank does not have a right, and they will not come and asking you for that money before 2026. However, when you are in debt of a person, even if a date was specified, for example 2026, they still have that right to come to you tomorrow and they can ask for that money back. So that is why the scholars have considered this, and that's why there is a difference between the long-term loan taken from the bank and the long-term loan taken from a person. So that long-term loan taken from the bank, you will only deduct the amount that you are going to pay in the course of the coming year, whereas the loan from the people, the long-term loan you've taken from another person, it will be the full amount. So let's just say, for example, Muhammad takes a loan of £9,000 from Zayd to be paid over 3 years. Muhammad's assets are worth £12,000. When zakat is due, you will minus the full amount, which is £9,000 from £12,000, which was his assets. So that leaves £3,000 behind, and that is way above the zakat threshold. Therefore, zakat will be necessary on the £3,000. So that is the conclusion of today, is that there are three types of debts: short term, where you will minus the full amount. A long term from bank, you will only minus the amount you're going to pay in the upcoming year. A long term loan taken from people, where you will minus the full amount. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to understand. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.